Oh, we're streaming live on Facebook now.
Woohoo!
Hi, everybody. And welcome to Untethered Talk with Robin Thomas at 2 o'clock. Thank you for joining us here. And hi, Robin.
Hi, how are you? It's been a minute since we did this together.
Like literally, well, maybe like half a minute. Oh, no. The test thing, yes, but it's been like 2 weeks. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's been a while, or maybe more.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back on track here.
Same.
So I was thinking the other day, I was thinking about the stigma of mental illness and not just, I mean, mental illness, bipolar, any sort of mood disorder. I don't know that you would call it mental illness. It's just a disorder, right?
You know, mental illness has its own stigma that those words do, right? And I think mental illness, calling it illness gives it like it's like diabetes or heart disease or whatever.
Right. So it actually gives it more credibility in a way.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And my experience is that mood disorders and anxiety and bipolar and those things they're huge energetic patterns. Like there's a chemical imbalance usually, right? And so meds are important and necessary, and then there's like the meds piece, and then the like energetic doing your work piece, and I think you can't have one without the other. So
absolutely.
So I think calling it mental illness is is great, because it makes it like there's like you wouldn't not take insulin if you had diabetes.
Right. Okay, I like that. So, all right, so we'll just discuss it as mental illness.
Sure.
So there's the stigma against mental illness out in society, and then there's like maybe our own, right? Not that I have any clue about what this feels like, but your own reaction to like the objective things. For instance, I'm just off the top of my head. I was talking to my psychopharmacologist a couple of weeks ago after my incident, and I was telling her about what had happened, and she's like, "Oh, okay. So, you know, you were having obsessive thoughts," and I was like, "Nah, I mean, obsessive."
Yeah, they were fairly obsessive compulsive.
Through them every 2 seconds. Okay, so there's a little obsession. Okay, obsessive thoughts. And she's like, okay. And then I told her about the part where I had that dream that was the exact same situation that had actually taken place, but with a different feeling behind it. And I was like, okay, so you know, I had this dream and I woke up and I thought that's what happened and not what actually happened. And she's like, oh, right. So you're having trouble telling the difference between dreams and reality. And I was like, oh, come on. No, I mean, like, I was like the exact same. Yeah. I'm having trouble telling the difference between dreams and reality. Okay. And then when I told her about like the yelling and stuff like that, she was like, oh, okay, so that went on for like how many hours? I was like, 2 days. She's
so,
like, oh.
So compulsions, obsessive thoughts, and difficulty differentiating between reality and fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got that, and then we're talking about the meds that we can put me on, and she's like, well, okay, you got your mapropion, okay, and let's see, you're maxed out on Lamictal. What else do you want? I'm like, oh my god, this stuff is happening to me, and I'm completely maxed out on. And you start hearing it, like, you don't think of it as like illness, or I mean, like, yeah, there's something going on in this area. You don't know what it is, but when it's, oh, my internet connection is unstable. Okay, but when
you've been jumping in and out.
Oh, right. Did you hear everything? Have you heard?
I did. Yeah. Yep.
So, when it's actually happening to you, I mean, yeah, okay, the uncontrollable yelling thing was really freaky, and you know something's wrong, and obviously, like, you need help. But afterwards, when you're talking about it and you hear out loud these symptoms and the fact, like, I was just like, oh my god, like, I just conceiving of it that way, looking at from like the point of view of outside of it, a more objective opinion on it, like it makes one feel a little bit like, oh, okay, really weak. Like this is
Well,
bad.
but I mean, is it weakness? How do I say this? Like, is it weakness because you were seeking help for some like real challenging brain chemistry shit that was going on? Like, I don't see that as a weakness. There's like, I mean, and those three things are the hallmarks of like extreme brain chemistry challenges, right? Like it's an extreme chemical imbalance. It's not just like, I don't want to say just like depression, but it's right, or anxiety. It's not simply anxiety or simply depression. That pushes the board. That's a real chemical imbalance heading towards bipolar, schizophrenia, some really deeper mental schisms.
Yeah.
So
Schism.
is it weakness because you have some chemical challenges and chemical imbalances in your brain? What is weak about that?
No, I mean, that's not, I guess it's more, you listen to things out there, you know what I mean? Like we're talking and I get that there's a chemical imbalance, which is not, you know, the most fun thing. But then you hear people like people's opinion about mental illness or depression or whatever the case may be. And it's hard not to have that rub off on you. There's a group that I'm involved in, you know, and they're great people, but there definitely have been things said that were not very understanding of mental illness, like to the point where you're like, I'm really like, one of the people in the group actually on stage compares depression to being like Eeyore, and oh, it's, you know, it's probably gonna rain. Oh, it's probably, you know, it's sunny, I'll get
So,
burned.
all
Like,
right. Help me understand. Make it make
sorry,
sense why you keep spending time with these people who are not your people.
because they're helping me get my life back on track financially.
Are they really?
Yeah, because I have my own business because of them, and I would not be able to run this business without them. They're good people.
Yeah,
It's
no. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm asking, is this truly 100% aligned with who you are? And is there a different option for you?
I mean, the group is not aligned with who I am.
Okay, great.
That I know. And I mean, again, it's not like one is bad and one is good. It's
No,
just
there's no
different.
judgment, but like these are not your people. This is not your
I know.
flock.
I know. I'm aware.
So why? Just help me make it make sense that you want to continuously spend time with people who are not your flock.
Because honestly, they really are. I mean, like I would not have this business without the
Is that
leader
is
of
that
this
really
group.
true? Is that
Yeah,
really true? Is it
yeah.
really okay? So maybe that was true in the beginning. Is it really true now?
It's we're 50-50 partners.
Okay. All right. Okay. Um, all right. That's a whole nother story. All right. I'm gonna try to not go down that path. There's so much there though, Jen. There's so much.
I know, I know,
Okay.
I know.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm looking
Okay.
forward to the time where I can spend more time with my people. And that's why I'm doing this, so that I can have the income
You know
stream.
that's not how it works, right? You know that's not how it works, right?
No.
energetically if you're not aligned with these people energetically, they're
I might
not
have
your
a mental schism.
exactly.
Is there a coincidence there that it happened right after that huge event?
Where you had to try to pretend not to be you for a week.
Yeah, it was awful.
You
Was
can't
awful.
cram yourself into those spaces anymore, and when you do so, it's going to come at great personal cost. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I've been pulling back. You know, I'm not going to all the events. There's one thing that I go to every week, well, two. And one of them is not like, it's just like a seminar. Like you're just listening. And I have to be there because I need to make appearances. I need a face to be known. That's also where I'm getting a lot, like most of my clients also come from this group, Robin. Like
all right,
my
okay.
ability to market, like everything. I do not believe I would be able to run this business with, I mean, sales, the guy, my business partner does all the sales. I get the people to come to the meeting, but he's the sales guy and he does a really good job. And that's because he knows business so well that he knows how that they can position anyway, blah, 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 blah.
Okay. All right. All right. I just, at some point, your prostitute, which is, this is running the show, your prostitute
Yeah, she is,
is
huh?
running this show. That's
My orphan prostitute.
right. It's not, we all have a prostitute. Everybody has a prostitute energy. Everybody has a place where they are willing to sell themselves out for safety, security, money, whatever it is that we're selling ourselves out for. But at some point, it's not sustainable.
Agreed.
And
The
it keeps you stuck. Like
yes.
you have a business, it's going, you have clients, you're right. It's working. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of efforting happening.
It's a business. I'm starting a business. That's
I have
effort.
a business. I don't have a lot of effort. There's no
How
effort.
many people do you like pay though and like have to
Well,
get
again, I don't. I pay myself, right? I pay myself. I take it, right? So I get it. It's a different, if it's a different business, what I'm saying is that energy of prostituting yourself because they're the only ones who can help you and that you need those people to survive and blah, blah, blah. That energy comes from lack. That
yes, yeah,
energy is the prostitute
yeah.
energy, and the prostitute cannot sustain things.
No, no, she can't. And yeah, I see that. I see what you're
Right?
saying.
So
Yeah.
so at some point you're going to have to become transcendent or the prostitute's going to keep you victim. The victim is up, the prostitute is up, the saboteur is up, and probably the child is up.
They're having fun. It's like a
And
party.
you're keeping yourself in survival mode because they're all activated.
Yeah, no, I see that. I feel like yeah, no, I totally see that. For me, like it is about survival though.
And
You know, it is about survival.
it is about survival.
It's about keeping myself out of that awful place.
But are
And
you
that,
actually keeping yourself out of that awful, awful, awful place? Or are you just like
okay, I'm functioning in the sense, and most of the time I'm functioning.
okay, but are you are you happy? Is there enjoyment? Is there passion? Is there creativity? Is there like
since the event and like my coming down and like learning the lessons, I have a lot more energy and I'm doing things differently. Like I will say that.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's really great. It's really great.
So,
But
all right. So that's all right. I will get off the soapbox. I will get off I just want I just need to like, if you're in a place where they're actively talking about things that go either against who you are, they're
or
not people, right?
I know, they're not my people. I know. I've known the whole time.
Okay.
I get it.
All right. So, okay. But to get back to the mental illness aspect is, so everything is energetic. There's nothing that's not energetic, including mental illness, including brain chemistry, including like we choose the lessons that we're going to have in lifetime, right? And we choose the contracts that we're going to have. That includes sometimes our physical makeup and our physical experiences, and right. So that includes the chemicals in our brain. We don't know the details. We don't get to choose those details, but we're like, I'm going to learn this time. I'm going to learn abandonment. I'm going to learn anxiety. I'm going to learn transcendence, whatever it is that we want to learn. We learn it, but we do it by going through these like incredibly tremendous crisis, like these like things that are really powerful and challenging, and right. Great. Mental illness is the same. So if you can get your brain chemistry regulated with medicine, then you can actually start doing the work of what is the lesson I need to learn. But if your brain chemistry isn't regulated, you're in survival mode. It's the same thing as being in first chakra, fear, lack, and scarcity. If you're in survival mode, you don't have bandwidth to explore.
Yeah, I see that. It's so easy to I don't know, it's I'm usually pretty good at not letting this sort of thing get into my head, but I've been so like about hearing it, and then it's just like there are these the work that you have to do to get yourself on track and learn better habits mentally and emotionally, learn more about your energy, learn how to just learn.
Right.
And there are like things that you can do to, like, exercises or whatever the case may be, whether
Right.
it's Ho'oponopono or like just replacing one thought with another, that sort of stuff. It just feels sometimes, it's brain chemistry. It just feels sometimes like, shouldn't I be able to do this? Like,
Right.
what is this?
What the fuck is wrong with me? Why can't I do this? And so you have the challenges, right? Your brain works differently. It's just true. Your brain works differently. Your job is to figure out how your brain works and maximize it. You're not going to be able to fit yourself into someone else's mold because your brain works differently. So if you allow that your brain works differently, now you can meet yourself where you're at. If you put the judgment on it, why can't I do this? Why shouldn't I just be able to do this? Not only do you have the different brain chemistry, you now have the judgment on top of it, which is trauma.
Yeah.
Which is constantly re-traumatizing a traumatized little child.
Yeah, I mean, this was, yeah, I mean, it is it is the people that like this expectation of like, you should just be able to do this. It's like,
right.
No, and then it's just whatever. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit then about the stigma of mental illness out in society and like what it is now and what we can do when you come to someone who thinks that depression is like Eeyore.
Oh, I honestly say run screaming. Like I really honestly, no, I really truly believe that. I mean, there's so much neurodivergency right now. There's so much where people's brains work differently. Like there's so much. Mental illness is on the rise. It's not getting better. Do you know why? Because we're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and we don't work. So it's like if there are people who judge you for mental illness, they're not your people. You need to run screaming. I mean, I really feel that sincerely. And when those people who are saying you should just be able to get over this, you're just a fucking Eeyore, when those people no longer feel entitled to say that because they're no longer like in control and in charge, that's how we change it. Right? Like I really feel strongly that like people who judge somebody, people who create this otherness that, well, oh, right? Like, why can't you just get over it? Those people are they're in the wrong. And the more we normalize, I hate that word, but the more we make like common.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, right? The more we make accessible mental illness and depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, the more we make it just a part of a spectrum, the more we allow it to be okay.
Yeah. Everything's a spectrum. I wish people
right.
would get
that. And so the people who don't get it yet, they're part of the old patriarchal structure. that
Yeah.
has to fall.
It is guys, I'm sorry, but
Well, patriarchal, I mean, it is
no,
patriarchal.
but I mean, like, I'm thinking the people I'm thinking about specifically.
It is it's a masculine trait to just plow through and push and do and not think and not feel, just fucking do it. That is a very masculine trait. That's the masculine energy. It is skewed a little bit in a lot of men in society because they've never been taught anything else.
Right.
They've never been given an option. They've never been allowed any other possible expression. So they just stuff it down. But there's also, those are the ones who get radicalized, and those are the ones who get aggressive, and those are the ones who take it out on other people and put down and right, there's us versus them, right? So because they've never been given any option. I actually kind of feel bad for men in
I do too.
In my most compassionate open space, I'm like, oh, they have so much more work to do. Oh, let's just give them like, oh, you're so cute. You still think that way?
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Really, no, I do feel bad for them. I do. It's a lot. There's a lot more to work to be done, right? Because the expectations of society are so different. I mean, yeah, we're hysterical if we show emotion, but at least we're expected to show emotion.
And I think that's the piece, that's the stigma that needs to change. So again, we want to talk about normalizing stigmas. The emotions are our superpower. They're not something that we have to like get past or get over or stuff down or get a control over.
Yeah.
So women have that. Yep, that's true. But women have also adopted this sort of masculine, stuff it down, don't feel it, whatever. So women have toxic masculinity, and men have toxic masculinity, and femininity is just like exiled, right? The Shekinah is like, nope.
I'm not into that. I'm all about the feminine.
Except that you're trying really hard to fit into a place where you don't belong.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem. And I mean, and it's true. Women who sort of adopting this masculine, push through it, stuff it down stuff, is because we live in this world that's ruled by men.
At the present moment, it is changing, and we're the ones who have to change it. We're the ones who have to show a different option, and as healers and light workers and the ones on the front guard of the advanced guard of this new consciousness wave, we have to do it first, which means we have to do our own work, which means we have to be present. We have to sit in feeling it. We have to sit in the places that are uncomfortable and uncover the shadow and find compassion and reparent ourselves, because we're the only ones who are going to be able to show others how to do it.
You can't do that alone.
No, you can't do that alone. Nobody can do it alone.
No, it's been impossible. It's like, if I had tried to do, if I had tried to, that whole event, I don't even know what to call it, like my
breakthrough.
Yes. I'm actually, at the beginning I was calling it like my breakthrough rather than breakdown. So my breakthrough, if I had been alone and you hadn't been there to help me, I would be in the hospital.
Possibly.
Like I would be in the hospital. Which
wouldn't have been that wouldn't have been a bad thing either, because it's what you needed, Jen. You needed safety. You needed a place to be held and safe. That's what you needed. So being in a hospital would have given you the fighting chance that you needed.
I suppose I haven't in my head like what that would have been. And,
I mean,
but we can't know. But
and going into a psych hospital, I worked in psych for a long time. It is not there. That's not an easy place to be, but it would have been a container for you, which is what you needed, right? If you end up in psych, you end up there because you've put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound for too long, right? Mental illness, unfortunately, the mental health system in our country isn't, right? It's a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. It is there. That's why there's so much recidivism. That's why there's so much like they don't know what to do because they've never treated mental illness in the same way that we treat physical illness. But in my mind, there's no difference.
Right. No, it's true. Because I mean, physically, there is something not wrong, but
Different.
my chemicals are different. And my chemicals are way out of whack.
Yes.
They
Right. And
So,
maybe it's the some of it started because of your natural brain chemistry, and some of it started because you're still trying to be the square peg in the round hole. So it's a combination of both things. It's not one or the other.
outside of that group.
But that you can't separate, Jen. You are who you are.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Right?
I'm like impossibly who I am. I'm like
That's what I mean. You are who you are. You're never not going to be you. In fact, Patty and I were joking the other day that one of your physical life purposes is to be crying. Like,
that's what I do.
right? Like we joked. I actually used you as an example. I forget who I was talking to. I was talking to another group, and I was like, "Yeah, one of my students in our chakra classes, her physical life purpose is crying," and it was right. She cracked up laughing. So
it's true though.
In the same way, I am the Hulk. I can't contain myself. I'm never going to be able to. And when I tried to, I blew shit up. I was thinking about this morning. I threw a Hoyer lift on the ground because I was trying a Hoyer lift, a big machine that is a giant machine that's used to lift a patient who can't move. So think about how big that has to be. I threw it on the ground because I had tried to cram myself into something that didn't fit.
It's amazing. Like the things, like, yeah.
That was my breakthrough. That was my breakthrough.
Yeah.
Right? That was the culmination of my breakthrough, actually.
Sounds like fun.
It was the very end of my dark night of my soul. But like, it was a big,
you need those. It's like the grand finale. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you need that to mark the end of things.
Right.
There has to be some obvious thing.
And you just had yours.
Yes.
Or maybe who knows if it was the start or the end, but whatever it is, it's
it's not happening again. I'm learning my lessons. We're not going back to shouting at myself uncontrollably for days. We're not doing that ever again.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. I got it, universe.
Then maybe don't let your prostitute be in charge of things.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like you said, it's survival mode. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been in survival mode for a very long time. And I feel like when I have enough that I'm not drowning as far as like financial situation is concerned, like, okay, I can relax and I can do whatever. But I see what you're saying. I do, but at the same time, I don't know how to.
Yeah, honestly,
how I can possibly change it.
It is. I'm not gonna say that it is easy, because it is not easy, and I still have to work at this one a lot. However, when I am in a place of needing money, wanting money, trying to get money, chasing money, whatever that energy is, I don't have it.
Right.
Because it's outside of me. Exactly. Because the energy I'm putting into it is I want, I need, I have to have. I just need this. I just need to pay my rent, whatever it is, right? Like, I don't want a lot. I just want to be able to pay my bills, right? Like, what I don't care. I don't care what you're chasing or how much. You're never gonna get it. You may get like a serendipitous, oh great, the universe just paid me $1,900.
$1,900 out of nowhere twice.
Yeah, right. Those happen because there are miracles and they're serendipitous and there's like a stopgap. It's like breath. You can breathe.
It's true. That's true. And I mean,
right?
I am making moves in different areas. There's another opportunity that I can talk about with some other time that's presented itself that I think will be good for me as well. And just stop the scarcity feeling thought
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And that when I don't feel like my livelihood or my well-being is dependent on someone else's good opinion, like then I can be like, all right, screw y'all, I'm not yours.
So that's if then thinking. If this
Yeah.
happens, then I will be
When this
happy.
happens,
All
when
right, when this happens, then I will be happy. When this happens, then I will relax. When this happens, then blah. It's still putting things outside of you.
yes. I had sort of a thing the other day where I don't know exactly what happened, like what the shift was, but I started reframing things and I completely revamped some stuff in the business. So now I don't feel like I'm like, because I'm behind on a lot of stuff and it's been killing me. And you know, like I mean, that's half the stress right there, is like just feeling it's like all this pressure. And then finally, like the other day, I was like, I'm just not going to feel that anymore. Like
Great.
that, that's it's not sustainable. I can't live my life feeling this way. You know, and actually, I think it had something to do with something my business partner said. He was like, you know, he said something about like having to like have the joy in the work. You know, you have to be, there has to be joy there. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what, he's right. Like, see, so there's usefulness there. I have learned.
I'm not saying he's not useful. I'm not saying he didn't put you in a good place. I'm not saying he wasn't exactly what you needed at the time. That's not, none of that. And I'm not disparaging him. He's a good guy.
I know he's awesome. He's
Right?
amazing.
I
Yeah,
have not, it
absolutely.
is not that. What I'm saying is
None of
when
this
you're
is disparagement. It's
right,
just
but it's when you're, and again, they're fine. They are who they are. They're like, it's right. When you're constantly having to scrape and bow and you're constantly put in a place where you feel subservient, you are constantly sending out signals to the universe that you don't deserve, you're not worthy.
I'm not sure that I feel subservient. I just don't feel at liberty to freely be myself. I don't feel like I'm not being myself. I feel like I'm just dialing it down,
But there's no
which isn't really me.
exact
I'm like kind of one of those people who lives at 11. Like that's sort of
right.
my thing.
Same.
Yeah, I know that about, I know.
So I found a world where I get to be an 11 and they love me for it. They're like, "Ooh, what would be 15?"
Right? No,
Right?
and yeah, no,
Or I
you're
created
absolutely
a world. I created a world. I'm not even, what did I found it? I created. Like, I actually put myself in positions now where I'm seen as respected for my passion and enthusiasm and intensity.
you know, I totally appreciate that. You are. And I really think that through doing this, becoming untethered, I think that I am using, like, I really am using what I have been given. And I really, it's like a calling for me. This really is like, I really feel like my vulnerability and my crying thing, like, screw it. I cry all the time. I'm not going to hide it.
Right.
I just cry. I do. You know what I mean? Like, I really do feel like using myself, not using myself, but being myself is actually what's going to help the world. You know what I mean? Like, I
Absolutely.
really
Because the
do
world
believe that.
needs your light. Your
Right.
light.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
light at 11 or 15 or 127. The world
Yes.
needs
Yes.
the world
I was
needs
just about to say
Jen.
127.
I knew.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. And I mean, in that, there's like a partition. I've got a wall, and that I exist this way, not myself over in this part, and then the rest of it, I'm good. Not good, but you know, I'm content to be, well, happy to be myself. You know.
At some point, the wall will come down.
Well, yeah, I kind of had to, right?
You get to choose if you're going to take it down or they're going to take it down for you. It's better if you do it, because if they do it, it gets messy.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I am anyway. The point
Anyway,
is
stigma, right? So
stigma.
I think if you're in circles where there's a stigma about mental illness, then you're in the wrong circles, because I think those circles are part of the outmoded society that just doesn't work anymore. Um, that's really my feeling on that. And just recently someone asked me about mental illness specifically as it relates to energy. And when I was first part of my career, when I was just being an OT, I worked in psych. That was my career first. And I watched, and I was just starting to understand energy medicine at that time too. So I watched how things worked. I worked in acute psych hospitals. I worked with adults, I worked with kids, and I watched the patterns, right? And what I can tell you with almost 100%, like I know this, but I don't have any scientific proof for it. Things like extreme bipolar, schizophrenia, those big deal biochemical challenges are extreme energetics that they don't know how to manage. Like it's they've realized the terror of touching the oneness of the soul, and they didn't have the bandwidth or the resources or the anything to deal with it. And that's why the mind schisms. It's extreme stress, it's extreme emotion, it's extreme experiences that don't have a framework in society. So
Yes.
if we could teach people how to manage that energy, those extremes, it's not going to change the brain chemistry. Meds help change the brain chemistry, but it gives them a chance to actually function in society.
Yeah. How, if we want to be proactive in helping the world this way, how would we do that?
Teach people to be themselves, and who they are is okay at 100%. Never not okay.
That's a tall order.
Right? I know, I know my name, that if everybody could figure that out or feel that just once,
Yeah.
it'd be okay.
Yeah.
We'd all be okay.
If you just felt it was okay to be who you are.
Who you
100%.
are, exactly as who you are, as is. There's nothing you have to
Mhm.
do or fix or change or be. Just as is. You're okay. It's a tall
It is
order,
a
yeah.
really, it's a tall, well, yeah. Teaching, I guess their only way to do that is to show,
It's to show, to give people the
right?
tools and resources, let them feel their feelings and be who they are, and make it safe. Make it safe to be that. I had some
Cool.
really amazing conversations with people who were actively psychotic. Like some
Really?
really amazing conversations with people who were actively psychotic, and they
Like,
were touching God. They knew the secrets of the universe. They just didn't know how to translate it in the world.
hmm. That's an interesting, like, do you have an example that you can tell us about? Like, can you think of anything? Just so I have in my mind, like fitting that into, not fitting that, but like
Yeah.
understanding it.
So, well, I mean, I worked with a woman I worked with, it was a different, I worked with someone who had multiple personality disorders. That was a totally different energy. I actually got to see I saw that different person. Like I saw
Oh
what
wow.
they looked totally different. I was like, oh, like at one point I saw like it was a man with a beard, and I was like, like I I was looking at this woman and I saw the man with the beard and then he left again. And I was like, and I tried to like pretend I didn't see it. And she was like, what did you just see? And I was like, nothing. And she was like, what did you see?
You're totally fine. Nothing.
I was like, nothing. Right. And I was like, she said, what did he look like? And I said, he had a beard. She was like, I knew he had a beard. So like, it was confirmation for her that she wasn't crazy. Right. And that helped her integrate him because she wasn't crazy. Right. So that was one thing. But like, I was on a unit once and this guy was talking about, God, this is like what we are pulling from the way, like this is 30 years ago stuff. So this was like in 1998 maybe, right? So let me think for a second what this, like, he was talking about God as, what did he say? He was saying God is like in all, shards. God's in all of us. We're shards of God. We're all God. We're all God. He kept trying to say that, but he was like, he couldn't quite make sense of that. So he would get distracted and he would like go off on a tangent and then he would come back to, we're shards. And he kept saying shards, there's shards, there's shards, there's shards. Look at, there's shards everywhere. And he kept talking about that everything was a shard from God. And all he could see were, basically what I assume he saw as fractals. He just saw the world that way. And it was, he couldn't live in reality because everything was a fractal, everything was a shard. So he just would, and then he would go like this and he would try to like self-soothe to make sure that he didn't, because it was like looking through a diamond energetic, right? Like that's what he said. So he saw the whole world that way, and it would be overwhelming for him because it was too big, too much, too loud, too intense, too many shards. There's too much. There's too many shards. There's too many shards. There's too many shards. Like he was really like trying to order this disordered consciousness. And like I just listened. Like I just sat there and I listened to him, and I would say, you're right. We are all part of God. We are all connected. We are all one. And be like, we are? Yes. And like he would like, it would like ground him again. And I'd be like, so like I didn't have the tools then. I didn't have the language then. I didn't have anything to be able to say to him, you're safe. It's okay. That's what I would love to have said to him is, you're safe. It's okay. I don't know. Would it have made a difference? I don't know. But I remember very clearly he was talking about shards. Everything's a shard. We can't, it's too much.
I see what you're saying. Like, if you, yeah, that is overwhelming.
Right. He basically saw things as like a giant stained glass window.
Like just pieces. It was a part of a whole, but everything's just like, I have a very clear idea in my head what he must have been seeing, but like what it looks like in my head.
Right, exactly, right? So he couldn't function. He couldn't function. He needed a container, right? He needed to be held. But if he was in a container that was safe enough, he would have been able to do a pretty mystical, brilliant, amazing things.
Really, I mean, that's really speaks volumes to like how important it is to understand and make people feel safe. Self-soothing. You just talked about self-soothing, and that's something I think we need to teach people.
I think it should be taught in schools.
Yes. It's like
right?
Fundamentally important
yes.
thing to know how to do.
Yes.
If you can't self-soothe, you'll never be calm.
No, exactly.
Yeah. That it needs that. That's a big deal.
Absolutely it is.
Be able to just everything. I'm very upset. Everything's kind of nuts right now, but
Yeah, I'm still okay. And if you
I'm
don't
still
know that
okay.
internally, if you've never experienced it, that's what I mean. If you've never experienced that internal sense of calm, you don't know, you don't have a reference point.
Right. Yeah, you don't have a basis of comparison. Like, okay, I'm
Right.
off by this much because I know
Right.
you're just like, this is life. I'm just freaking out all the time, and that's life.
Right. Exactly. And no matter how, no matter what I do, I can't get to that place of calm.
Yeah. Because you don't even know that place of calm
Because
really
it doesn't
exists.
exist. That's exactly it.
It's like, what are you talking about? Calm.
It's like the mists of Avalon. Like if you didn't know that it existed, you're gonna be on Glastonbury tour being like, what is there's gotta be something more, right? Like, it's like
Seriously.
so
It's Avalon, yeah.
I
Like
mean
Brigadoon.
that's a very, very obscure specific reference. I'm sure there are other references that like it's like
Brigadoon would work there
yes,
too.
Brigadoon would work or Narnia, right? You can't find it unless you know the way. I mean
Right.
there's a million different
Stories that,
stories that
yeah.
say you can't get there unless you know the way, but once you know the way, it's like, oh, I know a shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's an important message to bring out to the world. It's 3. You probably have to
it is.
go.
I have a client in like 10 minutes, so
Okay. Thank you so much. As always, it's been a light of knowledge and
I want to
brainess.
share this so desperately. Like I really want people to get this. This is why I do what I do. This is what drives me. Like I want people to get it. That you're okay as is. And we need you to believe that. Like
Yeah.
I really want people to get it. Like I want to teach this to the world because I just want people to get it.
I'm with you. I'm yes, that people need to get it, and that's what's part of what's going to heal.
Right. It's kind of only what's going to heal.
Only what's,
I mean,
like part.
it's the thing that's going to heal us. So
Yeah, it's just being, yeah, absolutely, being good with being yourself.
absolutely, as is. That you
As
matter. You
is.
matter. You're born. You here. You exist. You matter. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
it is. That's a simple. You matter because you exist. If you didn't exist, you wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it's pretty clear when you say it that way.
The universe.
Yeah,
One of
I
the
wouldn't matter if I didn't exist. It's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like you, like if you didn't, like the order is the single biggest principle in the universe. Like that's the law is order, right? So there's nothing in the world that doesn't exist because there's an order,
Yeah,
right? If it
everything is
exists,
there. Yes.
yes, it has a
Yes.
purpose. It has a meaning. It has a relevance because it exists.
It is the sum of every force that came before it since the Big Bang that allowed it to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, like, you're not a mistake because you're not the all of God. I mean, you're a part of God, but like,
Right, you're a shard.
God, yeah, you're a shard. It
Right.
is like God or the universe or whatever the higher thing is. Like, if they're like, hey, I want this person to exist, like, why shouldn't I just wish someone had, yeah, that's information that everybody needs to know.
I agree. That's information that everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Let you go. I could talk about this for another 3 hours. Probably not a
Same.
great idea.
Whatever. We'll see them all. We'll stay all night.
Right? Let someone cut it up later.
I love you infinitely.
I mean, same here, infinitely.
And I will see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.